Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, to the Torah tribes, Yasha Allah, giving the course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. This is Brother Yasha Allah coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit and power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, of course, also a mighty Ashar Yerah Kadash to all that's observing it today. All right, Ashar Yerah Kadash, of course, means happy new moon, right, in the Hebrew. So, it's a new moon. It's a time of rejoicing. You know what I'm saying? That's Psalm chapter 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet on the new moon, right, at the time appointed, right, on this solemn feast day. And this is a statute for us. You know what I'm saying? It's a commandment. It's our heritage to keep the commandments, right? It's a heritage to keep the new moons, the Sabbath days, the Passover, right? The day of Simon, the destruction of Nicanor, all these various high holy days that the Most High has set up with His own power, right? It's our heritage to be keeping these commandments. It's our heritage to be keeping these certain feast days, that the Most High has appointed us to keep, right? That's listed in Leviticus chapter 23, and so on and so forth, But I'm gonna get straight into this. This is going into the elect, 144,000, right, and the chosen of Israel. All right. So who is the elect, right? Now, first of all, we have to understand one thing, right? The Most High made all nations, right? The Most High made every single nation that we see, every single people that we see, every single language, right? Every single culture that we see upon the face of this earth. The Most High made them all, right? He's the creator of all things. Let's get that in the book of Sirach 18 and verse 1 real quick, right? This is Sirach chapter 18 verse 1. He that liveth forever, right, which is the Most High, created all things in general. So the Most High created all things in general. We know that He did that through the usage of the angels in Yahweh Shah, but He created all things in general, right? So all the nations, the Most High created all the nations, right, including His own chosen. Let's go to that in the book of second Esdras, right? Let's go to second Esdras chapter 6 real quick, right? Let's go to second Esdras chapter 6. Let's let the scripture speak, right? Second Esdras chapter 6 verse 54. And after these, Adam, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. So we all come from Adam and Eve. Why? Because everybody else died from the flood, right? You read that account in the book of Genesis, the 5th chapter, 6th chapter, 7th chapter, right? We come from Adam through Noah, right? We all come from Adam. Everybody that's on the face of this earth right now came from Adam, because we all come from Noah and his sons, right? Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? Everybody that's dwelling upon the face of this earth, every nation comes from those men, all right? But you notice here, Ezra is saying, look, we all come from Adam, right? Every nation, the Moabites, Ammonites, right? Your Chinese people, your Japanese people, so-called white people, right? The Arabs, the Africans, right? Everybody comes from Adam, but what? And the people whom thou hast chosen. So the Most High has a chosen people, right? That's evident. That's clear in the scripture. The Most High has a chosen people. Even though He made all people, right? He has a chosen people, one chosen people, right? Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. So the world was made for the sake of Israel. That's who the world was made for, His chosen people. Let's get that in the book of 2 Esdras chapter 7, right, in verse 10. And I said, it is so, Lord. Then said He unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. So the subject matter is talking about Israel, right? Because for their sakes, whose sake? Israel, I made the world. So for the sake of the Israelites, the Most High made the world. It wasn't for the sake of the Moabites. It wasn't for the sake of Esau, right? It wasn't for the sake of all these other nations. It was for the sake of Israel. That's why He made the world, right? And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done, right? So let's go back to this in the book of 2 Esdras chapter 6, verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes, as for the other people which also come of Adam. So you have other people. You have the chosen people which is Israel, right? The Most High created all nations, but he only chose Israel. And we're going to get that in the scriptures, right, Lord willing. And there you have other people, which are what? The heathen, the other nations, right? That which also come of Adam. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from the vessel. So the Lord said, or basically Ezra is speaking through the Spirit, and he's saying that, look, the Lord is calling all these other nations that's outside of Israel, they're nothing. And the Most High has a likened the abundance of them like a drop that falleth from a vessel. What does that mean? When you have a bucket of water, right? You got a huge bucket of water, and you carrying it around. You might have, you might drop a little water. You might drop a little, drop that falleth from the bucket, right? A drop might fall from that big puddle, that big bucket of water. Do you care about that little drop? You don't care about that drop. So that's how the Most High sees these other nations. The Most High doesn't care about that drop. And Ezra also said what? The Most High said that that these other nations be like unto spittle. Spittle is just another word for spit. The Most High compares these other nations to spit, man. Right? That damn nasty spit that comes from the snout, comes from your nose, right? You spit it out, and that's the Most High. That's how he sees these other nations, right? So the Most High does have a chosen people. If you didn't know that, the Most High does have a chosen people before the foundation of the world and even until now, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? Let's go to Isaiah. Let's get some fundamentals, right? This is Isaiah chapter 44 and verse number 1. Actually, I'm going to get Isaiah 45 and 4 verse, right? Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect. So the Lord said, for Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect. People. He has his elect, right? Because what does elect mean? Let's look that word up, man. Right? Let's look up elect definition. All right. Elect is just synonymous with the word chosen. All right. So when you see that word applied in the scripture, right, you'll know what that's talking about, right? Elect and chosen can really be used interchangeably, right? So the elect, I'm kind of zoom in, right? So a definition of elect: choose someone to hold public office or some other position by voting. So it's not by voting in this matter, right? Let's keep going. Nah, that's not what we want, right? No, that's not what we want. All right, so this is probably the best one, right? Of a person chosen or singled out. So that's exactly what happened, right? The Most High saw all the nations, but he only chose Israel for himself. He only chose Israel to be his people. He only chose Israel to be his bride, right? Et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? He only chose Israel to be his sheep, right? Of a person chosen or singled out. You see that? The chosen, the elite, the select, the favored. We're favored of the Most High, right? That's why you would choose something out of anything else. You favor that thing, right? You may have a widespread or wide variety of different clothing. You might have a wide variety of different shoes, but you have your own that you like, that you choose for the day, that you choose to be your favorite pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have a lot of shoes, but you really have that favorite one. And that's the same thing with the Most High. The Most High, yeah, he created all the nations. Yeah, he has all the nations. He has all the nations in his hand. That's parabolic, right? Symbolic, right? But he only likes Israel. He only chose Israel. He only favors him, right? So, let's keep going, though, right? So, Lord willing, that makes sense, right? Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 4 real quick, right? Again, Isaiah 45 and 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect. So the Lord chose Israel, right? I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. But Israel has not known the Most High. All right. To know the Most High means to keep his commandments. right? To know the Most High means to know His name, to call upon Him, to seek Him out, right? But Israel has not done that. Let's go. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 44, verse 1, right? It's Isaiah chapter 44, verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. You see that? So the Lord said, hear now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. So the Lord chose Israel, right? That's clear. Israel, whom I have chosen. You know, let's go to Isaiah chapter 43, verse 10. Ye are my witnesses, saith the Lord, and my servant, whom I have chosen. You just keep seeing that phraseology. And the Lord is only talking to Israel, right? He's only talking to Israel. He's not talking to everybody. When he says this, he says, and my servant, whom I have chosen. We just read who the servants of the Most High are. The servants of the Most High are the Israelites, right? That's Isaiah 44 and 1. We just read that, right? And my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after. See that? The Most High is omnipotent. Right? Let's go to the book of Romans chapter 9, right? Let's go to Romans 9. Let's go back to the start, you know, because remember, you might read in the script. Oh, Slock. Hold on, real quick. Before I get that precept, I'm gonna get Isaiah chapter 41, right? Isaiah chapter 41, verse 8. But thou Israel. So the Lord is talking to Israel, right? But thou Israel art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. You see that? So the Lord is clear with that. He's not trying to, beat around the bush. He's not speaking in a parabolic way. He's not spitting out parables, right? In this instance, he's being explicit, right? Explicit. He's being straight up. He's not trying to, be super deep in this verse, right? He's saying, look, but thou Israel are my servant. You my Israel. Slot, you're my servant, Israel, right? I gave you to be my servant. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones that were given the commandments and the law, statutes, or Slock, we were the ones that were given the law, statutes, and commandments. We were the ones that was endowed with the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, et cetera, et cetera. Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. You see that? Jacob, whom I have chosen. Again. So let's go to Romans chapter 9 real quick, right? Let's go to Romans 9. Let's see where I want to start at, right? Where I want to start. This is Romans chapter 9 and verse, right? And verse number 9, right? For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. That's in Genesis chapter 18, right? Verse 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. So this is Paul reiterating the story that you can find and you can read for yourself in Genesis chapter 25. I'm not going to read the whole account, but Genesis 25, really verses 21 on down, is going into Isaac and Rebekah having Jacob and Esau, right? It says what? Verse 11, for the children being not yet born. This is talking about the children of Rebekah and Isaac, who are Esau and Jacob. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. So this is before they had done any works. They were still in the womb. You know what I'm saying? And this is really on a deeper sense before they were even in the womb, right? But the children didn't do any good or bad, right? Keep that in mind. That the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. You see that? So that just shows you, right? First of all, we don't have any free will because the Most High had already chose Jacob before he did anything, right? Before he even did any good or any evil, the Most High already chose Jacob to be his servant, to be his elect, to be his chosen, to receive the promises. The Most High had already chose Jacob before that, before the foundation of the world and the deeper level, right? And he already rejected Esau. He didn't choose Jacob and Esau. He only chose Jacob. That's it, right? in this instance, right? He chose Abraham, and out of Abraham, he chose Isaac, and out of Isaac, he chose Jacob, right? And that's how it is. You see, Paul is saying, look, not of works, but of him that calleth. It's up to the Most High. What you going to do about it, right? That's what Paul is basically, saying in this chapter, right? Let's keep going. Verse 12, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. Right, so these Edomites, they're going to have to serve you in the kingdom, man. Right? They're going to have to serve the real Israelites in the kingdom. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. So Paul is saying that, look, are we to say, is the Most High unrighteous for that? Right? The Most High, he didn't give Esau a chance, right? He just chose Jacob before they had done anything. You know what I'm saying? Is that really righteous? Yes, that's righteous, right? That is righteous. Because are we to say that the Most High is unrighteous for that? The Most High will do as he pleases, right? Let's get that in the book of Job real quick, right? Let's get that in the book of Job. You can't start bucking up against the Most High and trying to reprove him, because he knows what's best, man, right? All the works of the Lord are exceeding good. That's what it says in the book of Sirach, chapter 39. Let's go to Job, chapter 23, and verse 13. It says what? But he is in one mind, meaning the Most High is unique. And who can turn him? Who is able to turn the Most High? Right? If the Most High wants to do something, nothing is going to stop him from doing that. Right? And what his soul desireth, even that he doeth. For he performeth the thing that is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. You see that? So Job understood the omnipotency of the Most High, right? Omnipotent meaning all power, right? To say that you're omnipotent, right, would basically say that you're the Most High, because the Most High literally has all power over your life, over my life, over everything that we see, right, in here, and things that we can't even see, according to Colossians chapter 1, right? So whatever the Most High wants to do, that's what he's going to do, and nothing can stop him, right? Just put yourself in that mindset, right? Like, for example, games, if you ever played a game, right? If you ever played a game like whatever, like GTA, Minecraft, whatever, right? You are in control in that game, right? You can do whatever you want, right? For example, like Minecraft, right? You got a free will. If you turn that thing into creative, they even nickname that, God mode, right? You can do whatever you want, right? So the same with the Most High, except there are no limitations for him, right? But let's go back to this. This is Romans chapter 9 and verse 15. For he said to Moses, I'll have mercy on whom I'll have mercy, and I'll have compassion on whom I will have compassion, right? So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, right? Slakia, that's all I wanted, right? That's all I wanted. But basically, it's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth. It's not about what we want, it's about what the Most High wants and what he has ordained, right? Let's keep going. So you should be getting that idea, Israel as a whole, the whole nation of Israel is the Most High's elect, right? The whole nation of Israel is the Most High's elect on one fold, right? That's just one fold, though, on one level, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, right? Let's go to Isaiah 65. This is Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 9, right? It says what? And I'll bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servant shall dwell there. You see that? The Most High said that, and this is kingdom connotation, right? So this is in the kingdom. When we inherit the land, right, the Lord said that, look, mine elect shall inherit it. Who is his elect? We had already reviewed that. We had already read that in previous scripture, right? Shalom, Barakatah Most Highs, right? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatah, right? Let's go to the book Isaiah chapter 65. Let's just jump down, right? Isaiah 65 verse 22. They shall not build in another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. Clearly talking about the nation of Israel, right? And don't sit up here and say that that's talking about the multi-ethnic church, right? Don't come up here with that supersessionalism, all right? That's talking about the ethnic Israelites, but that's a whole different video. Now we established that, right? Oh, Slock, real quick. Let me get 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, right? Let's get some New Testament love in here. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Because people think that when you know, as soon as you get to the New Testament, everything changed, right? It's a whole different story now, right? Everything just changed. You know, the God of the Old Testament was just so mean, right? And he didn't let people do stuff, and he was so mean. He's just killing a lot of people, right? And as soon as you get to the New Testament, people think that, oh, the Most High, now he accepts everybody, and he's more loving now. No, that's not the case. Malachi 3:6, right? For I am the Lord, right? I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. The Most High doesn't change, right? It's the same message throughout the whole scripture, right? It's the same message from the Old and from the New Testament. So let's read that in the New Testament, right? That the Most High still has a chosen race, right? In the New Testament. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation. Who is this talking? This is Peter talking to the Israelites, right? That are scattered. Let's just read it, right? Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahweh Shah Mahashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. So these are certain places within the Greco-Roman Empire. These are certain provinces within that empire, right? And he's writing to the strangers that are scattered throughout these places. So that lets you know that he's not talking to everybody in those places. He's talking to the strangers that are scattered throughout those places. Read James 1:1 to figure out who has been scattered. Israel has been scattered, the 12 tribes, right? Verse 2, elect. So he's calling these strangers the elect. He's saying elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through sanctification of the Spirit. We had already read tons and tons of precepts about who the elect is referring to, right? So that's why you got to go precept upon precept, all right? Because if you just open up the book, right? First Peter 1:1, you think this is talking about the heathen, and you wouldn't understand who the elect is going into, right? So that's why you got to read the Old Testament as well, Let's read this. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Right? And I'm going to get this in a different translation as well, right? Watch this. Let's go to 1 Peter. We're going to read the same verse, but in a different translation, right? Watch this. Let's read this in the ESV. All right. Let's read this in the ESV real quick. And y'all say that race is not in the Bible, right? All right. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. So what does it say then, right? It says, it's the English Standard Version. So a lot of Christians actually use the ESV, right? They either use the ESV or they use the KJV. And I've seen, Christians actually use the NIV sometimes, right? But that's mainly it. And the Jehovah's Witness, they use their own Bible, right? Catholics as well, right? But a lot of Catholics, they do run with the KJV as well. Let's read this, bro. Let's read this. This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But you are a chosen race. You see that? So you still see this concept even in the New Testament, right? People think that, oh, you don't have to, race doesn't matter. Race is not in the Bible, right? Your nationality is not in the Bible. That doesn't matter. Well, what does this say? But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. That's talking about the nation of Israel, right? That's clearly talking about the nation of Israel. Why? Let's just get this precept real quick. It's a book of Exodus, right? Chapter 19 and verse 5, right? Exodus 19 and 5. Now, therefore, if you obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. What does it say? A holy nation, right? A holy nation. What does it say, right? In the KJV, and holy nation, right? This is Exodus 19 and 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. You see that? So these people are Israelites, right? But the point I really want to highlight is that this word race is actually in the scriptures, right? A chosen race, all right? So the Most High still in the New Testament has a chosen race, all right? Come on, all praise. Still has a chosen race, all right? Nothing ain't changed, man, right? But come, so let's go to the so that's been established, right? Israel is the elect. Israel is a chosen nation, right? Ethnically, all right, not spiritually, but ethnically. So let's see what the other elect is, because you have the elect of the elect, right? You have the elect within the elect. You understand? So this is going into the elect, because when brothers say the elect, we're not just talking about the nation of Israel. We're talking about those that have been chosen within the chosen race, within the nation of Israel, right? Because not every Israelite is going to receive the same salvation, right? Yeah, all Israel is going to be saved, but let's go to the book of Zechariah, right? Let's go to Zechariah 13, right? To kind of, let's figure out what this means. This book of Zechariah, chapter 13 and verse 8, right? Zechariah 13 and 8. I'm going to just start at verse 7, right? It says, awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. It's going into when they killed Yahushua, right? Everybody, the sheep scattered, right? You can read about that, I believe, in the book of John, right? Let's keep going. Verse 8. It says, what? And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. So 2/3, right? When you talk to the Hebrew Israelites, you hear about the prophecy of the 2/3. The 2/3, right? Who are the 2/3? Or what is a 2/3? 2/3 is a fraction, right? 2/3 is a fraction. Let me just show that on the screen, right? 2/3 is a fraction. I'm gonna just share my screen, right? So this is a 2/3, right? So for example, pi, okay, pi, whatever, a circle. You cut this pie into 3 pieces, and if you, let's say you ate, going back to elementary, right? Let's say you ate a piece. You ate a piece of the pie. Now you only have 2 pieces left, right? And so that's the 2 out of 3. That's really what that means. 2 out of 3, 2/3, right? 2 out of 3. And so 2/3 roughly equals, when you divide 2 divided by 3, it roughly equals 0.66666. And it keeps going on, right? Keeps going on. It's a repeating decimal. Okay. So 0.6. And what's kind of symbolic off of that number is the number of the beast is 666, right? So it's just, a little symbolic, just meaning destruction, right? Because the 2/3, they're not going to hearken. They're not going to make it. They're going to be destroyed, in the land of the living. They're not going to be able to walk into the gates of heaven, right? They're not going to be able to get to the wilderness and receive, that immortal body, receive the hidden manna, you know what I'm saying? See Yahushua face to face, right? They're not going to be able to be of the 144,000, right? In the 1/3, right? But they'll be reborn back into the kingdom. Okay. So the 2/3, right? This is the 2/3 prophecy. So 2/3 of all Israel is going to be cut off and they're going to die, right? They're not going to make it. Like I keep saying, you know what I'm saying? These are not the elect, all right? Verse 9. But mind you, they're still Israelites, but they're still not going to get that same salvation as the elect of Israel are going to get, right? They're not going to be beamed up into the chariots. They're going to be killed, right? Verse 9. And I'll bring the third part through the fire. So the third part is going into the 1/3 that's left, because 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 3/3, right? That's just simple, math, right? 1/3 is that rest of Israel, right? Let's say this chart kind of represents Israel, right? Two-thirds, 2 parts is going to die. They're going to be cut off. But that one part, that one piece that's left, right? What's going to happen? Verse 9. And I'll bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. So the Most High is going to try his elect. What does that mean? He's going to put them through temptation, through trials, through suffering, tribulation, right? But they're going to be able to go through it because the Most High, he's going to be burning the elect up in order to get them purified, right? That's what you do with metal. Put it in a hot furnace, turn that thing up to about 1,000 degrees, even hotter, to get out all that zinc and all that other stuff you don't want. And you pull out this, and when you pull it out, it should be all nice, right? Because gold, when you look at like gold sticks or like gold bricks, right? Gold does not come out like this, man, right? Gold, when you mining it, damn 100 miles down into the earth, when they find gold, they don't find it like this. No, this is refined gold. This gold has been tried in the fire, purified 7 times. Psalms 12 and 6. They don't just pull the gold out of the ground like this. They got to refine that thing, And when you look up gold, it's really like in bricks, or it's like not in bricks, but in rock. You got to get that thing out. You got to put it in a furnace, and then it'll come out, more purified, more beautiful, But it's like, let me read that again, verse 9. And I'll bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I'll hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. See that? So the 1/3, they're going to be on a higher level, right, in the kingdom. Now the 1/3 of Israel, they're consisted of women, children, and even men. All right, men, women, and children. That's 1/3. But within the 1/3, you have the 144,000. So this, it might be a lot, but you have, and within the 1/3, you have the 144,000 who are the governing body of the nation of Israel. They're even on a higher level. All right. But Slok, let me get this precept real quick. All right. Let's get this precept real quick. All right. Khan, 2/3 day. Hey, they're going to worship the beast, man. All right. They're going to worship the beast. That's in Revelation 13. Right. Let's go to they're going to be destroyed, man. And Lord willing, we're not part of that number, right? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 7. Let's lock. Verse 6. As gold in the furnace have he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. You see that? And that's talking about the souls of the righteous. When you read verse 1. Right, let's go to Song of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 1. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and there shall no torment touch them. Right? So the souls of the righteous, what is that going into? The elect of the elect, the 1/3. Those are the souls of the righteous, right? Verse 6. as gold in the furnace have you tried them and received them as a burnt offering. You see that? So if you're part of the elect, hey, you're going to be going through that fire, okay? You're going to be going through that fire so that when the Most High receives you, you be all purified, right? And blameless and spotless, you know? Let's go to the book of Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4. Let's go to Ephesians 1 and 4, all right? This is Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 4. According as he have chosen us in him before the foundation of the world. So the Lord, if you're on this live stream right now, the Lord has chosen you before the foundation of the world. If you're in this truth, the Most High has chosen you before the foundation of the world. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect, though. We dare make ourselves of that number, though, right? I'm not going to sit up here. God forbid I ever do that. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, I'm the Apostle John back on the earth, right? You got to listen to me. I'm the elect for sure, right? No, I can't say that. You know, I can't say that I'm emphatically the elect. I don't know, right? And a brother or a sister cannot say that either, you know, because we don't know. That's why we say we're the hopeful elect, because we have been called into this thing, right? We have been called into this thing. So we're hopefully waiting, you know, to make our call and election sure. You know, we're hopefully begging for mercy of the Most High that we are of that chosen few. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High said, or Yahweh Shai rather, Yahweh Shai said what? Many are called, but few are chosen. You know, many are called to this truth, but you know, few are actually going to get into that roster. Few are actually going to be chosen. You know what I'm saying? But this is Ephesians 1 and 4. According as he has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world. So before the Most High created all the world, the heavens, right? Before the Most High created anything that we see. Hey, the elect men, the apostles, right? The 144,000, the 1/3, they were already chosen before then. You already chose, hey, these spirits, hey, put them over here. They're going to be my elect, right? These spirits over here, put them over there. They're going to be the 2/3. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Most High did it. That we should be holy and without blame before him in love. You see that? Having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shah Mahashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. So yes, predestination is in the Bible. All right? Predestination is in the Bible. So the Most High, so, you know, Lord, when, you know, brothers and sisters that's watching this video are of that hopeful elect, man, or of that number, you know. But let's get this precept real quick, right? You know, brother cannot say that he's emphatically the elect. You know, that's going off. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. For we dare not make ourselves of that number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. So we dare not make ourselves in that number, man. Right? And even Paul said that, man. Right? We can say almost emphatically that Paul is, you know, the elect. Right? But, you know, Paul, he said, hey, I dare make myself in that number. I dare count myself as the elect, you know. Hey, Paul was doing more work than me, more work than you, right? But he still said, look, I dare make myself in that number, right? It says what? Or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves are not wise, right? You're not wise if you do that. You're not wise if you say, oh, look, oh, okay. I'm putting in a lot of work. I'm reading like 10 chapters a day. You know, I might beat James back on the earth. No, that's not wise to do that. All right. Because then that would be going into exalting yourself. And we know how the Most High feels about exalting yourself. If you exalt, Yahweh Shah said, if whosoever exalted himself shall be abased, but whosoever shall humble himself shall be exalted. Right. And that's a humble thing, saying that, look, you know, I dare make myself that number. You know, that's a humble thing, you know. All right, let's go to Philippians, right? Let's go to Philippians. Let's go to Philippians chapter 3 and verse 13. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended. So Paul said that, look, I don't even count myself as to have apprehended. I'm not even I'm not done in this thing, right? Everything is not said and done. I don't know if I'm the elect or not. You know, I don't know if I'm part of the 1/3 or the 2/3, right? Because you can be in this truth, and you can be part of the 2/3, right? It's sad, but that's the sad truth. You can be in this truth and still be part of the 2/3 because the Most High didn't see your spirit right. Your spirit wasn't right with the Most High, whatever his reason is. I could be part of the 2/3, right? That's the sad truth. A pill that we gotta swallow in this thing, because we could be in this truth right now, being on fire for the Lord, and then we just fall out tomorrow. That can happen. And then look, you thought you were gonna be part of 1/3, but you really, it's 2/3, right? But Lord willing, that doesn't happen. Lord willing, part of that number, right? Like he's saying, man. That's why we got to pray for that, that mercy from the Lord. Let's go to Philippians 3:13. Brethren, I count not myself as to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. Right? I press toward the mark for the price of the high calling of God in Mahashiach Yahushua. We got to press toward that mark, man. Right? But let's go real quick. Let's go to the book of Second Ezra, right? Because these elect men, the apostles, for example, right? The apostles, not even the 12, right? Just the apostles that we read about in Acts, the elect men, right? The 12 minor prophets, right? The major prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, right, et cetera, et cetera. These men, these elect men, the Most High has raised them up and chosen them to be leaders, because the elect of Israel are leaders. They're not Negroes in the world, right, with the pants hanging down, right? They're not wife beaters, all right? They're not unruly men. These are men of order, men of mighty men, mighty leaders, all right? Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 1 and verse 38, right? And now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east, unto whom I will give for leaders. So these are leaders, and these are also the elect of the Most High. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Oseas, which is Hosea, Amos, and Micah, Joel, Obadiah, and Jonah, Nahum, and Habakkuk, Sophenius, which is Zephaniah, Aggeus, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord. So these men, like the 12 minor prophets, as well as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, these are leaders, because the elect men are leaders, right? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, right? Let's go to Ezekiel. And sometimes, like for example, Ezra, he knew that he was the elect because the Most High told him, right? Let's get that real quick, right? Some of these men actually knew that they're part of the elect, Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 2, right? 2 Ezra chapter 2. Where's this precept at? Right? This is the book of all praises. 2 Ezra chapter 2, verse 13. Go and ye shall receive, pray for a few days unto you. This is the Most High talking to Ezra, right? That they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. You see that? So the Most High said, look, pray for a few days, Ezra, because look, the kingdom is already prepared for you. Now, Ezra, he could have been like, oh shoot, king prepare for me, damn, I'm gonna just max and relax then, because hey, not every man can receive that knowledge, right? That's why you don't know. That's why I don't know, because the mortal man, your regular average Jake, if the Most High comes down onto him in a vision or a dream, right? And the Most High tells him, hey, listen, you're part of the elect. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Just watch, Hey, what is that Jake going to do? He's going to do whatever his heart desires because he knows that he's going to get the kingdom anyway, right? So that's why we don't know, right? Or else it wouldn't be, it would be pointless, right? If you already knew, right? You wouldn't put in that work. Why are you putting in the work? There's no reason, because you already elect. Whatever you do, you're going to be the elect. You're going to get the kingdom anyway, right? That can't change. So but Ezra, he knew that he was part of the elect, right? Let's get this precept. Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 14. Though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, and these are three righteous men, right? They should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, said the Lord. See that? Moses said that, hey, I'm a deliverer, right? By their own righteousness. Because he has found their souls to be righteous. He has found their works to be righteous in their faith, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 9. Because I also want to touch on something else too. In the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be order. It's going to be order everywhere. Because in this place, there's no order. Let's go to that real quick. Let's go to Job, right? This is Job chapter 10, verse 21. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. Hey, here in America, here in Babylon the Great, here in this present world right now that we live in, it's the land of darkness, especially Babylon the Great, right? Babylon the Great is a land of darkness and a shadow of death, right? Verse 22. But how's it the land of darkness? Let's keep going. A land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. You see that? So this place doesn't have any order here. There's no order, right? The women are ruling over our men, like it says in the book of Isaiah. Let's go to that real quick. All right, America has no order. All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 3. Let's go to Isaiah 3 and verse 9, right? Let's look, verse 12. It says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, right? Hey, children should not be oppressing their damn parents. That's out of order, right? Children should not be having the rule over their parents. It should be the opposite. The parents are having rulership over the children, and the children submit, right? That's how it should be. But in America, it is not so, right? It says what? As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. So are women ruling over our men? You have women ruling over our men. That's unruly. That's not supposed to be happening, because the Most High, he deals with order, and he had already set up a hierarchy of himself, right? O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. Let's see the order that the Most High had already established, because the Most High deals with order. So in the kingdom, you're going to have that as well, all right? Because this present world, remember, doesn't have any order. The Most High said in Job 9:24 that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. And of course, the wicked is going to be doing the opposite of what the Most High does, right? In righteousness. The wicked is not righteous, obviously. The wicked is the unrighteous. So if the Most High delights in order and justice, the wicked delights in what? Unbalancing and things being out of order, all hell to break loose, confusion, disordinate affection, disordinance. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. All right, let's see the order that he established. This is 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ. So the head of every man, meaning the head is going into the leader, right? The leader, or basically the person that is above you, right? The head of every man is Christ, all right? And the head of the woman is the man. So the head of the woman is the man. So you got the man, you got Christ, right? But who's below the man? The woman. Right? Hey, that's in there. All right, that's in there. You say you believe in the Bible, right? But do you believe in that verse? You know what I'm saying? A lot of you Eves, right? They're just going to stop you right there, and they're not going to finish it, right? They're not going to let you finish the verse. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, oh, man, I don't believe that, right? It's a 50-50. It's not a 50-50 with the Most High, man, right? The Most High doesn't deal with damn 50-50, right? It's Christ, and then the man, and then under the man you got the woman, right? The head of the woman is a man. That's order right there. And the head of the woman is a man, and the head of Christ is God. And so even Mahashiach Yahweh, even he has a head, and that head is the Most High. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. All right. So even Mahashiach Yahweh has a head. All right. And you women also have a head as well. All right. So again, the order that the Most High established, right? It's the Most High. He's on top. There's nothing above him. Right? The Most High, Yahweh Shah. Under Yahweh Shah, you have the angels. The angels are not mentioned in 1 Corinthians 11, but you do have the angels under Yahweh Shah. You can read about that in the book of Hebrews, right? But you got the angels, you got Salah. You got Yahweh Shah, under Yahweh Shah, the angels. Under the angels, you have the man, right? Predominantly, the Israelite man, especially. And under the man, you have the woman. Under the woman, you have the children, right? So calm. That's how it goes. And that's how the Most High set it up. And so this order is not really being expressed in this present world. It's not really being promoted like how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? It's waxing wickeder and wickeder. And people are doing whatever the hell they want. So this place doesn't have any order. So the Most High in the kingdom of heaven, when it's going to be established in righteousness upon the face of this earth, right, under Yahweh Shah, listen, order is going to be prevalent. All right, there's going to be order. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 9. There's going to be a government. The government is supposed to establish order, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 9. Let's go to Isaiah 9 and verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. That's talking about Yahweh Shah, right? Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. So Yahweh Shah is going to be the head of that government that's going to be established in the kingdom of heaven. Yes, the kingdom will have a government, but it's not going to be ran by a president. You got the Senate, you got the Republicans over here, you got the Democrats over there. You got the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and the executive branch. It's not going to be like that, bro. And it's not going to be ruled by damn Edomites. It's going to be ruled by Israelites, all right? Upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this, right? So the Most High is going to perform that. He's going to institute that into his kingdom. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 22 and verse 20. And who's going to be that government? Who's going to be in that government? Because is it going to be Yahweh Shah? That's it. Sitting upon the throne, right? Right? Just sitting upon the throne in the kingdom. That's it. And everybody else just bowing down all the time, right? Well, of course, we're going to be bowing down and giving him reverence. But there's still going to be a government that's going to be set up, right? Yes, you're going to have Yahweh Shah on the throne, but he's not going to do everything. He's not going to make the kingdom go, he's not going to do that by himself, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 20. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 22, right? This is Isaiah chapter 22 and verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that I'll call my servant Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, and I'll clothe him with my robe and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I'll commit thy government into his hand, and he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. You see that? So again, we see this kind of phraseology because Eliakim the son of Hilkiah is going into Yahweh Shah. We read about that in Revelation 3 and 7, right? Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, because he has the keys of David. The only person that we read about in the scriptures that also has the key of David is Yahweh Shah, as he explicitly states in the book of Revelation 3 and 7. So Eliakim the son of Hilkiah is just going into Yahweh Shah, right? So again, we see this kind of phraseology with a government, right? A government is going to be established by Yahushua and for Yahushua, and also controlled by Yahushua in the kingdom of heaven. Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 19, verse 28, to kind of substantiate that further. It's Isaiah chapter 19, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? So Peter's like, hey, Lord, we forsook all. I forsook my dad. I forsook my job. I forsook, everything. I forsook my family. I forsook my house. And, we dropped everything. We followed Yahushua, right? So what we're going to have? What are we going to have as a reward? You know what I'm saying? And this is what Peter is asking them, Yahushua. Verse 28. And Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So that's what's going to happen. The Most High, right, is going to set up, when the Most High sets up the kingdom and places Yahushua in the throne, right? He's going to give dominion unto Yahushua, right? When he sits in the throne, the 12 apostles are also going to sit upon 12 thrones, right? Next to Yahushua in the kingdom, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And that judge is not going to, Israel's going off, so, I got to execute a judgment upon them, right? There's not going to be any sin in the kingdom for the Israelites. So that word judging is just going into what? Govern, right? The Yahushua or Peter, it's like the 12 apostles are going to be governing the 12 tribes of Israel, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right, in the kingdom of heaven. So that's obviously a government right there. You see that? Yahushua, the 12 apostles, they're going to be governing the house of Israel. Along also, because you're going to also have the 144,000, that are also going to be that government body as well. They're going to be executing the judgments. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel 37, right? It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37. So, the elect, it's kind of a long breakdown, all right? It's not that simple, The scriptures is, it's deep, all right? It's that deep water. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 20. I'm going to start at verse 24, right? Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 24. And David, my servant, shall be king over them. That's just going into Yahushua, the Davidic kingdom, right? Remember, it was prophesied that the Savior and the king, the Messianic king, will come out of the loins of David, right? That's 2 Samuel chapter 7, I believe, verses 14 on down, right? So that's just going into Yahushua, because yes, Yahushua did come out of the loins of David, right? That means that Joseph and Mary had sex. But it says what? And David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they shall have one shepherd. That one shepherd is going into Yahushua. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. So we're going to have judgments. What are the judgments? Because you read about the laws, statutes, and judgments, right? It's like the laws, statutes, the laws, commandments, statutes, and judgments, right? The judgments. What are the judgments? The judgments will be the various punishments that we see for breaking the law, right? You can read about that. So let's go to, for example, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, right? Let's just read it real quick. Let's get it real quick, right? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13 for an example of what a judgment is in the law. It's Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. It says what? If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So that's a judgment right there. That's a judgment that we just read. If a man lies with another man as he would lie with a woman, that's what that scripture is saying. Basically, homosexuality, right? Homosexuality. If that happens, if they lie down together, the Most High says both of them have committed an abomination, And the Most High hates all abomination, right? That's in, I believe, the book of Sirach. The Most High hates all abomination, right? And so the Most High is saying that, look, both of them have committed an abomination in a disgusting sin, right? And they shall both be put to death. Both of them have to be put to death. That's a judgment right there. So the elect are going to be executing the judgments, right? And not to their own people, of course, because we're not going to be sinning in the kingdom of heaven. That's Hebrews 8:8. That's the new covenant. When you're in the new covenant, there's no more sin, right? We're going to be programmed in our heart, in our minds, to be serving the Most High always, But what? So Khan, yeah, that's the judgment. So the judgment for being a homosexual and committing those homosexual acts is what? Death. That's in the law. That's plain. That's clear. You can't be like, no, that's not what it's going into. That's obviously what it's going into, right? Let's just read about the let's read about the 144,000 real quick, right? And I'm gonna just close it out real soon, right? Let's go to Revelation 7. Revelation chapter 7, verse 4. I'm sorry, verse 3. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Right? And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed in 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. So that's the 144,000. If you didn't know who they were, basically, it's a literal 144,000 chosen men out of every tribe, 12,000 out of every tribe. And these chosen men are going to be the elect men, the very, very elect men, the chosen men, the government that are going to be part of the governing body of the nation of Israel. All right. And so if you're a part of the 144,000, you're really, you're on a real high level. All right. You're on a real high level. Let's read about 144,000, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, talking about Yahushua, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. What does that mean? The father's name is written in their foreheads. It's meaning that what? Because within your forehead is your mind. And so in the name of Yahweh Bash Yahushua, that name is what Yahweh represents. Because you got actual, the name Yahweh, right? But his name is what he represents. What does Yahweh represent? Righteousness, equity, justice, holiness. That's what the Most High represents, So that's what the 144,000, they're on a real high level, because when you read this chapter, it really bigs up the 144,000. Because they follow the Lamb whithersoever they go. They don't turn from any. They don't care. They're like, Peter, James, John, and Andrew. They drop everything. They don't give a damn, right? And they really put in that work for the Most High. They really keep the commandments of the Most High. They try their best, and their spirits are clean, right? And righteous and holy, 144,000, the Most High bigs up the 144,000. Because they're also the first fruits of the Most High. Read about that in verse 4. And they're not defiled with women. And that women is brother said Revelation 7. We're in Revelation 14 right now, but I did read Revelation 7. And yeah, you can read about 144,000 in Revelation 7. You know what I'm saying? I just brought out verses 3 and 4, right? Because their father's name written in their foreheads is not literal. It's just going into their mind is just solely focused on the Most High. Right, that's it. Right, let's go to Revelation chapter 22 and verse 4. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. You see that? His name shall be in their foreheads, meaning that's your mind. Your mind is fixated on the Most High and what he represents, which is what the holiness, the law, statutes, commandments, and the righteousness. but con. All right. And I'm gonna just close it out with Revelation 14, right? Let's close it out with that. Right, Revelation 14 and verse 1 again. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. Right? And I heard a voice from heaven as a voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. Right? Now, this song is not a literal song. What is this song? This song is a spiritual song, basically going into what? The prophecies, right? The truth being spread out throughout the four corners of the earth. Let's get this precept. 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 5. It says what? And after that, after 1 Samuel 10 and 5. After that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets, right? Coming down from the high places of a psaltery, and a tabret, and a pipe, and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. So they're prophesying with what? Tabrets and harps and spiritual things. It's like songs, right? So that this song that the 144,000 only know is going into the deep, deep mysteries and prophecies, right? That's that song, this truth, essentially. Verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women. So the 144,000 are not defiled with women, spiritually and physically. Doesn't mean that they're it's like, let me keep reading. For they are virgins. These are not literal virgins, right? Because we know that the 144,000, they also have families. We gotta get that precept, right? Gotta prove all things. Let's go to Zechariah 11, right? It's like Zechariah 12. This is Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 12. And the land shall mourn, every family apart, the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart. You see that? So these men, right? They're going to be they're the elect, but still they still have a family, right? They're not actual like literal virgins, like because Abraham, he had a family, he had a wife, he had multiple wives, and he has kids. Jacob, he has multiple wives, he has kids, but they're still part of the 144,000, most likely, right? Let's go back to this. So that woman is going into both spiritually and physically, right? They're not fornicators. You know what I'm saying? They're not messing around with damn thousands and thousands of women. You know what I'm saying? And on a spiritual sense, that woman is going into a strange philosophy and doctrine. All right, let's get that real quick. All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 3. All right, Proverbs chapter 5, verse 3. It says what? For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. You see that? So the lips of a strange woman, they're going to drop as a honeycomb. Honey is very, very sweet. Honey is very, very sweet. And when you read the scriptures, honey is like one of the most sweetest things. Let's go to Sirach chapter 11, verse 3. All right, let's go to Sirach 11 and 3. Let's prove that. All right. This is Sirach 11 and 3. The bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is the chief of sweet things, right? The wise and children are they considered the elect, or are they the innumerable multitude? So the innumerable multitude, as we read in Revelation 7, right? Yes, they're essentially the elect too, right? The wise and the children, they're the elect. But the 144,000, as they are going to be the governing body, the 144,000 are solely men, right? They're solely men. But the wise and the children are going to be, they're also part of the 1/3, right? And a part of that innumerable multitude. Gone. Because we know that, gone. if that makes sense. Come, right? But this Proverbs 5:3, for the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. So these strange philosophies and doctrine, if you don't have the girdle of the Most High on you, if you don't have the whole armor of God on you, you're going to be enticed by these other doctrines, right? That's why we got to study. You might be enticed by Islam. Islam tells you, if you blow yourself up, or I mean that I think that's what they say. If you blow yourself up, if you die for Allah, you got 70 virgins up there in the heavens waiting for you. And Jake might be getting enticed by that. Okay, 70 virgins, all right, okay, cool. Hey, Jake gets enticed by Christianity. Christianity says all you got to do is believe on Jesus Christ, right? And you can still eat pork, you can still eat shrimp, right? You can still be a damn fornicator, right? Honeycomb is delicious, man. Right? You might have to, whip some up, put some on your damn on some toast or something, a bagel. I sometimes put mine in my bagel or a damn oatmeal, you know what I'm saying? Right? Because it is the new moon, But so yeah, that woman is going to spiritually a strange philosophy or doctrine, right? This is Revelation chapter 14. Revelation 14:4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. So these 144,000 elect men, they follow the Lamb whithersoever you go. Right? What does that mean? They're solely focused on the Most High God and Yahweh Shah. On the truth, right? They're praying, fast, studying, right? Yeah, Khan, the brother said if you read the Quran, it's 70 boy versions, That's off. But Jake might get enticed by that, man. That's a strange woman. Right? Khan. It says, what? These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. See that? They're blameless. Blameless. They got no spot in their garments, right? They're clean. The Most High has accounted them worthy to be clean. Right? Let's just end it off with this. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife have made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is a righteousness of the saints. So the garments that the elect men have on, it's white. You know what I'm saying? They're white, and that white is symbolic for that purity, that righteousness that they come with. Because remember, hey, the 144,000, the elect, like the 1/3 as well as the 144,000, they're not super wicked, right? They're righteous. They're going to be keeping the commandments to the best of their ability, right? They're not going to be in the world, popping Xanax, popping Molly, in the clubs Friday night, being a homosexual, a fornicator, being effeminate, etc., etc. These are not the elect. The elect are going to be trying to keep the commandments to the best of their ability and trying to be on fire in these last days. That's what the elect are going to be doing, right? So, that's why it says that the fine linen is a righteousness of the saints. Because when you go to Revelation chapter 16 or verse 15, it says, behold, I come as a thief. So Yahweh Shai, and he said, I'm coming like a thief, right? Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Blessed is he that keepeth his garments. You got to keep your garments. And you got to keep your garments white. That's Ecclesiastes 9:8. Meaning, constantly repent, right? Put your garments, put your clothing into the spiritual washing machine and put that bleach inside of it, right? Basically, that's you repenting daily examining yourself, right, and keeping the commandments, right, and being on fire. All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 3 and verse 3. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Thou hast a few names, even in Sardis, which have not defiled their garments, and they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy. You see that? They shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy. So the elect, as a whole, they've been counted worthy to what? Receive that salvation. You know? So calm. But yeah, that's really, all I had. I wasn't planning to make that too long, but the spirit moveth as it will, right? So all praise to Yahweh Bashem Shah. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. The water for everybody that was joining into the live, the water for watching, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Shah. Kwame Ashala, again, Mighty Ashar Yarak Kadash to all that's observing it. If not, still a Mighty Shalom, right? And, Lord willing, it's going to be a good new month, right? Another month in this truth. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Shah. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. Lord willing, brother or sister, kind of took something from that. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Shah, right? Again, Shalom. This is Brother Yashab. Shalom.